So, midweek brain scramble. This week is kind of like a throwback. I believe I posted the link to a TEDx UCLA talk months ago, which originally inspired this little challenge here. So this one is much less physical than some of the other coordination patterns that we've done, but still has a lot of the cognitive maybe benefits and challenges to go along with it. And it's super accessible. Like literally anybody can do this if you give it the time. And I think that's a big part of the theme today is give it the full time to go through this drill. Just like in weeks past, let's spend 15 minutes exploring the potential patterns of this challenge here. There's no bonus points for speed to go through this. We're really just looking to explore maybe like being able to do these patterns with good quality and then slowly over time ramp up the complexity. Then maybe down the road you can consider like the speed with which you go through these could be like another variable. But for now, quality and accuracy and then complexity are what we want to go for. And the way I would structure this is I would spend maybe between 1 and 3 minutes with as many of these patterns as you feel comfortable. There are plenty of combinations, not infinite, but there are more than we're going to dedicate in one day here if we're spending a minute or two each one of these. And I'm just going to go through a few of them. So to start off with, I want you to spend a minute on each hand with each of these shapes. So the basic idea is this. We have a square and we have a triangle. And I want you, we'll start with the right hand. It looks like the left hand on the screen right now, but I want you to snap at each of the 4 corners. So very simple. I'm just snapping a square. Like I said, don't worry so much about speed, just nice accuracy. Maybe at the 30-second mark, we can try going in the opposite direction. My snap volume was starting to dwindle there. So you can think about even making good quality snaps as you go. If you can't snap, just tap your fingers together in the shape of a square. But the most important part is that the connection of your finger happens right at the corner. And then we would do the same thing on your other hand. So again, snap the corners of a square. And essentially, we're just kind of laying the foundation for what's going to happen later. This is very straightforward, I hope. If not, spend the time doing this. But just work the basic patterns here. Once you make it through the square, a minute on each side, we're going to go for a triangle. Same idea. Boom, 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 boom. I'll let you decide if it's an equilateral triangle, if it's isosceles, if it's obtuse, a right triangle, you decide. But we're just going to snap the corners and go the other direction. You get the idea, right? We'll go through on the left side. So, for the first, 4 minutes there, 4 minutes, you've just laid the foundation of these 2 patterns. We have a square and we have a triangle. The fun now is how do we combine these? Like I said, the number of combinations, I started writing them out and I had to stop halfway through because they're way beyond what I was comfortable writing down in the notebook to get prepped for doing this little challenge here. So explore as much as you want. But a real basic pattern is to just do a square with one hand and a triangle with the other. And like I said, don't assume that you're going to be able to go fast. Don't even try to go fast in the beginning. We're just looking for accuracy to start with. So I've got a square going in this hand and I have a triangle going in this hand. So I will You get the idea. There are 4 snaps on this hand and 3 snaps on this hand. So they become kind of off kilter until they make it back onto their kind of common denominator, and then they're off kilter again. And it's one of those things where as soon as that first cycle through happens, your brain cramps and it breaks and you have to restart real quick up there. Hopefully you have a good operating system and that restart happens quickly. But if you take the time and kind of think it out and then make it happen, it does become more accessible. You make some neurological connections here, and this becomes more doable. And the important thing now is not to become the world champion square triangle snapper. It's to use that momentary pause or those kind of brain cramp moments again and again. And what we have to do is we have to find other combinations, throw wrenches in the plan. So once you've become pretty proficient at one way, it's already time to change. We've got what we can get out of that. It was awesome. And now we move on to the next. So just like in weeks past, the benefit is in the doing of it, not so much having done. So it's a great focus challenge. You have to be very much in the moment to make this thing happen. It's a fun little challenge. I think it's a good thing to be able to include with a partner. If you want to take turns going back and forth, maybe you can each issue one another a challenge. And then they take a minute to try and make it happen. But get creative with it, 15 minutes, like I said, and it'll go by quickly. So I'll just run through maybe a few different scenarios that you could think about, and then, like I said, sky's the limit on getting creative. So we just did, let's see, square on my left hand, triangle on my right. What if we did it the opposite? And just for shiggles, what if we did it in the other direction as well? So before I was going clockwise on my direction, now we'll go counterclockwise with the other shapes. So on this side will be a square, this side will be a triangle, and I'm going counterclockwise. Oh, it's going to cramp my brain for sure. So you get the idea. I think it was pretty accurate. It would be good to go back and look at the video to see how symmetrical these shapes remain. But you got the idea. So had two variables there, had the direction that we changed, and then the shape changed as well. So maybe another iteration that you could think about is, what if you kept the same shapes on both sides, but asked them to go in opposite directions, or even in the middle of the sequence, one of the hands has to change. So we'll start with that. Real basic, we'll do the square, and I'm going to have them both going in the same direction, and then at some point I'm going to switch directions, but only with one hand. So, got the regular square. This part will be very familiar after you've already got the pattern down because the hands are working in unison. But what if I start to go the opposite direction? The hands are off now, and they're also going in the opposite direction. What if we send both in reverse? You get the idea. Your co-workers, if you're doing this in the middle of work, are probably going to catch on that you're doing something besides working, but, go with it. If you're at the park or the restaurant, do it somewhere where maybe someone could see you, and you never know. They may come up and ask you what's going on, and you can share what you're trying to work through. At any rate, it's a fun little challenge. It's nice midweek. It's not going to crush you. There's nothing particularly physical about it, but it will get your brain going, and it'll take your mind off of everything else in your day, so it'll be, at the very least, a nice little active meditation. So try it out. Let me know what you think, and if you come up with some fun combinations, be sure to share it.